Hi, welcome to a new vlog. A long time has passed since the last vlog ended. It's Monday already. The reason I didn't film yet is because I was reading Starsight by Brandon Sanderson and I had almost finished it. And so I thought I'm gonna just finish it out and then give you my final thoughts then, and then that will be the first check-in. But then when I finished it, I went home to my parents' house because university in Belgium, that's the thing you do during the weekend. And I don't like filming there. So we got to Monday. So this will probably be the last vlog for this year, just because I'm gonna have exams in January, and so I won't. Well, first will be Christmas break, and then I have exams in January, and I'll be home most of the time, and obviously preparing for exams, so I won't be filming during that time. I'll try to pre-film a few sort of end of the year list type thingies, so I can just put them out. So there will be videos, maybe, if I get that done, maybe not, we'll see. But for now, let's talk about some things I read. I already mentioned Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, so I finished that. It's the second book in the Skyward series. It was really good. While I was reading it, I wasn't sure if I liked the first one more than this one, but the ending was really good. So I really liked this one more than the previous one because of that. I really liked exploring some more of the world, because book one is very confined to just one planet, but book two extends more to other places. Also, the stakes increased quite a bit, which I also thought was really well done. Braid was a very interesting character. I'll not spoil, so that's all I'm gonna say about her, but she was really interesting, I thought. Also, we have these creatures. I don't know what they're called in English because I read a translation and I'm pretty sure that the name I had for them was also translated, which happens sometimes. So I don't know what the English name is, but the big bad that we're fighting. I thought those were extremely interesting, and it was always this, what are they really though? We never knew what exactly they were. So that was very interesting. I like the plot. I like the characters. The ending was very thrilling and very page-turnery, and it was a lot of fun. This will never be my favorite series of all time, but I have a lot of fun reading these. So that is Starsight. Then while I was home, I finished one more thing that I had to read for uni. it's gonna be the last thing that I count. Like, if after like one poem or something, I don't count that, because like it's one poem. Or like if we like fragments, I also don't really count that because we don't get the full context and full story of it. It's like the last complete thing that we had to read, which was The Frogs by Aristophanes, which is a comedy about the god Dionysus. And he goes to the underworld to get Euripides, who's a tragedy writer. And then there's like a battle between Euripides and Aeschylus about who's the best writer, like in the underworld. It's weird. The plot is weird and doesn't fully add up, but that's not the focus of the story. Clearly, like, it was supposed to make people laugh, and it made me laugh a couple of times, so that was successful. It's hard to compare to the tragedies, but yeah, I like this one a lot. I think if I would have to rank all of the ancient Greek plays that I've read, I would go Antigone, then this one, then Agamemnon, then Hippolytus, I think. I thought it was a lot of fun. Then I started a romance one day in December, which is like my first kind of more Christmassy read. I haven't read a lot of it. I'm still very much at the beginning. So it's about a woman who she's on the bus, and out a window she sees this man and she falls in love at first sight. And she can't get him out of his head, even though she only saw him like a minute. And she tries to find him, but unsuccessfully because she has nothing to go off of. And then they meet again. Well, I assume they meet again because it'd be a dumb romance. I haven't gotten to that part yet. That's how not far I'm into it. Like I'm like 2 or 3 chapters far, so that should still come soon. So I don't have a lot of thoughts there yet. Like, I mean, yeah, obviously I like the insta-lovey part, like love at first sight, but in my head I'm just gonna pretend it's just attraction at first sight, and then the love is gonna follow. Maybe it'll happen in the book as well. As I said, I haven't read the part yet where they meet again, so I don't know how that'll go. We'll see. I also continued reading Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I'm almost finished this one, so I will probably finish it this week. So I'm gonna keep my thoughts for when I finish it. But it's very thrilling as well, the ending, and I'm looking forward to it. So that was my reading. I watched 2 Christmas movies this weekend. Like, one was A Kiss on Candy Cane Lane, which was fine, but not great. Like, was trying to do too much stuff besides the romance, but like not commit to those things. Like, they were like vaguely thrown in there, but then they're there, you can check it off, but it's never fully explored like some deeper themes or something. were kind of thrown in there but never fully explored. So that was kind of meh. Also, like the premise, okay, I wasn't going to go into these too much, but I guess I am. The premise is that like the female main character is an author, like a romance author, and her books are very well loved. But in every book, she uses the same male lead called Conrad, and everyone constantly asks, like, "Who is Conrad?" And so like there is no Conrad. I just made him up, but like no one wants to believe her. I'm like, who is Conrad? And obviously there is a Conrad. Who like they had a relationship when they were teenagers, I think, and so that went wrong. But she's like using things that happened during that time to like inspire books, but it's not like inspired by it. It's basically just tells what happens, and like you like change the ending so that you do get the HEA. But it feels weird, like you're using like real events and you're clearly basing your male main character off an actual person without their consent. Like that kind of just feels weird to me. Also, like fan fiction of like actual people also makes me feel kind of weird. So like same goes for this thing. So I didn't love that. It's a second chance romance, which is not my trope. So yeah, it was fine. It passed the time, kept me entertained, but not one I will rewatch. And then I watched Christmas with a Prince, I think it was called, which is based on a Harlequin novel. So like you know what vibe we're getting. It was like a prince of a fictitious country broke his leg while skiing, and they have this doctor, and they went like she and the prince went to high school together, and so she has to take care of this prince, but she doesn't want to. But yeah, romance. So I liked that one a lot more. Like it still wasn't perfect. Still not like a favorite movie, like favorite Christmas movie of all time. But after Kiss on Candy Cane Lane, it was a big improvement, I thought. A few like kind of funny moments as well. So yeah, that was fun. So that was my week so far, and I will talk to you again when I have another update. Bye. Hi, it's Thursday already. I'm not doing a great job filming this week, or vlogging this week. Life has been hectic, but I'll make this video 2 weeks instead of one, because otherwise it's like one clip, which is a little bit sad. So yeah, I'll show you some updates since last time. My first one is that I have finished Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. It's a Red Riding Hood retelling. It's about a girl whose grandmother has gone missing, and so the police doesn't want to help her, so she goes on her own investigation. and she gets the help of this guy called Wolf. But can we trust Wolf or not? She's not totally sure. So that's the plot. And then obviously we also continue the plot from book 1. I really love how, and I had that with the first one too, I really love how the story is clearly based on Riding Hood, and you've like a lot of references and like it's so clearly that fairy tale while also being its own thing, and that's a balance that's really hard to hit. And I think this book or this series nails it. Like this was very intense. The plot escalates very nicely. Yeah, I'm loving this series so far. I did prefer the first book, but then also I just like Cinderella more than Riding Hood, so that might also have something to do with it. But yeah, this is definitely a very strong series, and I can't wait to dive into book 3, which is Cress, which is a Rapunzel retelling. I'm looking forward to it. So when I had finished that one, I continued a book that I had started before, but I kind of put it on hold because Starsight and Scarlet got priority. But now I finished those, so I can continue it, and that is Sapphire Blue by Kerstin Gier. This is the second book in the Precious Stone trilogy. The series is about a girl called Gwendolyn, and in her family there's this time travel gene. But not everyone can travel through time, only very specific people, and the dates of when these will be born have been calculated by Sir Isaac Newton himself. And for this generation, the person who can travel through time is Gwendolyn's sister Charlotte. Or is it? So you can see where this goes. There's also this other family that has a time travel gene, but in Gwendolyn's family it's only women, and then in this other family it's only the men. So, you know, there's this very handsome guy called Gideon. It has a very strong like romantic component to the series. Very slow burn romance, but that's also an important component. I'm just loving this. I read this the first time when I was like 13, 14, and I was completely obsessed with it. And so it's just cozy and like nostalgia, and I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. The series does read quite a bit younger than a lot of things that you see in YA, which is a thing. Like YA that isn't written originally in English tends to read slightly younger. This is a German series. So if you're gonna pick it up, do keep that in mind. Like, don't expect Sarah J. Maas or something, because that's not what you're gonna get. but I'm really loving it, and it's such a quick read as well. I'm having a great time. Then that's what I've read since we last spoke. I also went to the library and I picked up The Girl Who Saved Christmas by Haig. I'm gonna start this one like tomorrow or one of the next 2 days, because I'm buddy reading this with someone. I read the first book last year and I loved it. That was like Santa Claus origin story. And so this is, I don't know if it's a direct sequel to it or if it's more like a companion, but I'm excited for it. I really love Haig. I love everything Haig has written, or at least everything I've read by him. Like also the first book in this series. I think this is only middle grade series. I think like the rest that he's written is mostly adult. Could be wrong, but yeah, he's one of my favorite authors, and I think that this could be like sort of a last favorite before the year ends. So I can't wait. So those are the reading updates. Movie update, Christmas movie update. Like last weekend, I watched Christmas with the Prince. I already told you that. I watched the sequel like yesterday. And it was a lot of fun. Like the first. Yeah. Okay, so I am very bad at remembering the plot of something if I haven't consumed it. That's the case with books. You may have noticed that. Movies as well. I mean, once I have read them, it's usually fine. But like books that I haven't read or movies that I haven't watched, I forget the plot as soon as I hear it. Which was also the case with like, the first one. I read the synopsis and like was interested, and so I added it to my list. But then by the time I actually was looking for a movie to watch, I inevitably had forgotten what it was about. And I thought just Christmas with the Prince. So I thought, you know what, it was like fiction royalty type story, which was like a vibe that I was just craving. So I watched it, but that's not what the thing is about. Like it's mostly set in a hospital. So that was a little disappointing. I mean, I still really enjoyed it, but it was like disappointing. This one was set at the castle with like all like the royalty stuff that you would expect in a romance like that. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I also liked in this one like the note of like so the male main character is obviously a prince, and the female main character is a doctor. That's why the first one was set at the hospital. And sort of this notion of, okay, yeah, I'm having this relationship with a prince, but that doesn't mean that like she doesn't necessarily have to quit her job. That it's not, or at least that's not a that she doesn't automatically like quits her job. That it's like something that they really have to at least think about. And you have a lot of like, yeah, where are you gonna live? Because obviously this prince is to be in his kingdom to rule, but then this woman works in the US in the hospital and she doesn't want to give that up. And so it's like, we'll figure something out. But it's not like like automatically like, okay, I quit my job now. So I appreciated that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. So that's everything, I think. So I will get back at you once I have another update. Bye. Hi, it's Monday. I'm back with another update. I think I talked about Scarlet Friday. I told you that I finished it. In case I didn't, I really loved it. I gave it 4 stars. In case I did talk about it, I won't worry with rehashing everything. So I started something new and finished it as well because it was. And when does like a short story stop being a short story and start being a novella? I'm not sure. It was like 50 pages, so I don't know what that would classify as. But it was a romance, Christmas romance, of course. Like also during COVID times, by a Dutch author. It was called Ik dit met Kerst by Lily Frank. I wasn't a fan. I read like a lockdown COVID romance, Christmas romance last year, and I wasn't a fan. And like now, it wasn't like really COVID, but it was like, well, it was COVID, but it's not lockdown, but like the like Christmas 2021, where like things were open, but like you were masked all the time and you had to be vaccinated to do stuff, and like you noticed that it was still very much a thing in everything that you did, but it was not like an active lockdown. So that was what this one was. And yeah, I wasn't a fan. And it's not the COVID, it's just too early or something, because those are the aspects that those are not the aspects that I hated about it. The thing is here, the dialogue was really bad. And also like the banter between pretty much any characters was so cringy. Like super cringy. So I didn't love that. One thing, so it's stole from the guy's POV. Like it's some POV from like the man's POV. Which before this I really didn't notice, or didn't like think about it. Whenever it's like a man and a woman, like if it's 2 women, obviously you're gonna get their POV and not some random guy. If it's a male romance, obviously you're gonna get the POV from one of the men, but it's like a man and woman. Either you get the woman's POV or you get dual POV, but then you get the woman first. Not here. No, this entire thing is told from the man's POV, which, I mean, it probably exists. I just haven't read any of those before this one. So that was a little weird in the beginning, and I don't know, like the love interest was introduced, because it's in first person. When the love interest was introduced, I was a little confused because I thought, like, is it Sapphic? And then I realized, oh no, it's a guy whose POV we're getting. So it was a little funny to kind of check my own assumptions, maybe. I don't know. What else was there about this book? There were like some steamy scenes, and I don't love steamies. Like, I don't mind it. It's not something that's gonna ruin a book for me, or anything. It's not something that I go looking for. This time, though, there were they just felt gross. Like, I was reading them and I was so grossed out. Just the way it was described was really wasn't a fan. I mean, I've read books that are steamier than this one. That's not, or like at least as steamy as this one. So that's not the issue, because I was fine with those. And I don't know, I can't really say what it was, but just felt super gross. And one of the times it didn't even like really happen. It was just a guy's fantasy, which I don't know if that makes it better or worse. But yeah, needless to say, I didn't love this one. Also, in like the plot thing, we had like a I don't want to spoil it, but like something happened, and then the main character's like, I told you so, and then like, okay, first, like, if it happens, you can say that once, like, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, and like, but the entire time he's like, yeah, that was a good thing that I was there to solve things, and yeah, it's really dangerous, and you should have listened to me, and all those things, and I'm like, it's like the same things. Those are his internal monologue, and I really don't like reading it because it just felt incredibly childish. So I didn't love it. There is another book in this series, because it's actually like the novella. It's like a companion to a book that was out before. I'm not gonna read that one. It was a bummer. But I did start something else. And that is The Girl Who Saved Christmas by Haig, who is one of my favorite authors. I read the first book last year and I really loved it. So this series, book one was a Santa Claus origin story, and this one is about the first girl who believed in Santa Claus and the first girl who ever got presents from Santa Claus. And I'm like a third of the way through. They're incredibly quick to read, the series. I mean, it's middle grade, which always is quite quick, but especially this one. Also, there's illustrations. They're gorgeous. Maybe I can show you one. It doesn't really spoil the... This is like the elves working. Like the illustrations are really pretty. I don't love this book as much as book one. I think like some of the whimsy of book one didn't fully make it into this book, but I guess it's kind of like the theme of the book, because it's about like how hope is being lost, and if no one has hope, then there is no magic, because magic is made out of hope. So, but I don't know, some of the whimsy got kind of lost. also the first book was like single POV, and here we're jumping back and forth, which at times like a little bit jarring. But like that's a minor complaint that I have. I do love Matt Haig's humor, which is still in here. I love the elves. They're adorable. I love them. They're like some real historical figures that turn up in this book. And I don't know if I love that, because like the first book had such a timeless quality. And like who knows when it was supposed to be said. Maybe they said it, but I forgot. But like it just felt like so timeless, and it could have been back in ye olden days, like BCE times, or it could be like 100 years ago. Who knows? This one, like, because they're like actual historical figures, it's really rooted in the 19th century. And like for a Santa Claus origin story, and like the first girl that ever got presents from Santa, I don't know, I don't want it to be like pinpointed at a certain time. I want it to be more like a mythical type thing, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I'm slightly disappointed. I'm still loving this book and I'm having a great time, don't get me wrong. It's just a little disappointing because I loved the coin so much, because I love Matt Haig so much. Like any other author writing this book, like I would probably like be singing the praises. It's just because my expectations were incredibly high. I think that I'm a little disappointed, but it's still an amazing book, and I still really recommend it. I'm having a good time. So those were all of the like most important updates. I continued Sapphire Blue as well. It's somewhere over there, but I don't have it with me, so so I'm not gonna hold it up. But like that series is a reread for me, and like I don't remember everything, and if like you would have asked me like how does the book go, I probably wouldn't be able to like really tell you what the plot, like the full plot is, like beat per beat. But every time I'm reading, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, this thing happened. I mean, the most important things I didn't like actively remember, but then the other things were like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah. I've come now to a thing that I don't remember at all, and I feel like it's kind of a big thing, or it's at least setting it up to be a bigger thing. And I'm like, how could I forget this? So that's funny, but yeah, I'm really enjoying that as well. I'm taking my time for it because I want to enjoy it as long as I can. But I'm halfway in that one now, which makes me sad because no, I mean I still have book 3 to read when it's done, and I can reread it again. It's no big deal, but I don't know, I want to savor it, so I'm reading that one slowly but surely. I think that it is the most important for now, so I will talk to you again when I have a next update. Bye. Hi, welcome to the final clip of this vlog. I just finished The Girl Who Saved Christmas a few minutes ago. So my thoughts are still very fresh, but I didn't want to mention them now. So, I don't know. I really liked it. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it, but it was kind of a disappointment for me. I didn't feel a lot of the whimsy that the first book had. Also, I liked about the first book that it was, the time frame wasn't really clearly set, and so it kind of made it look like a myth or something. Versus this one had historical figures as characters, and like a specific year was mentioned, and it was like the 19th century when the very first kid got presents. So like it feels so recent for that. And I know if you look at the history of Christmas and the way it's celebrated, maybe that's like accurate or something. I don't know. I don't know enough about that, but I don't know, for like a Santa Claus origin story type series, it feels extremely recent. So I didn't love that. And like the ending wasn't nearly as heartwarming as book one. Like usually with Matt Haig books, and I had that with the last book, the first book, as well. I want to hug them once I finish them. I just feel so warm inside. And I didn't really have that with this one. Like I liked the ending, but it wasn't as wholesome as the other ones, I feel like. So even though I liked the story, like I like the plot, I like the pacing. I love Matt Haig's writing style and his humor and the silliness of it at times. I really like that, and I really enjoyed this one as well. So like I sound more negative than I feel, but it's just, I love the first book so much, and Matt Haig is one of my favorite authors with such high expectations of this one, and it didn't fully live up to it. But I still recommend the series. I really do. The elves, I love the elves. They're so silly, and I love them. And like they're all like children. I really love the elves. Yeah, they're amazing. So I finished that, and then I went to the library. I'm actually finished it at the library because I sat down and I had like 20 pages left, so I sat down and read it there, that I could leave it there as well, return it. And then I picked up 3 novellas, which wasn't planned. I had 2 things that I like was thinking of getting, but I was only planning on getting 1 of them, and I would like decide there which one I would get. But then I got there and they were like a lot shorter than I expected. I didn't know that they would be novellas, or like I thought like short novels or something, but like no. So I took them both, and those are A Little Bit of Christmas Magic and Christmas on the Isle of Skye, both by Kirsty, Ferry. They're both like Christmassy romances. This one is about a wedding planner who is planning a Christmas wedding and then falls in love, and this one is about someone who lives on the Isle of Skye, and he is excited for Christmas, only there's one problem. There is one person who's not there, so he tries to get her back to the island so that his Christmas would be perfect. So I'm really excited about both of them. They're really short, they're novellas. Especially this one is so much shorter than I thought. I don't know. Also, these pages are extremely white. I don't know what's up with it, but like, I'm excited about these. I think they'll be very quick reads because A, romances, B, they're like, the longest is 140 pages, so like, you know. So I'm excited about these. I'm gonna try and read these in December still. I have the next one, which maybe in January. I actually wasn't planning on getting this one, and like I was just on my way to the checkout desk to check out the other two, and I passed like a table with new arrivals, and I saw this one, and I couldn't resist, so I also picked up The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nghi, which I believe is about like a monk who goes to visit this Empress to get her story, and then the Empress tells him about her life. I mean, I'm really excited about this one, but I also kind of regret now, or like I immediately regretted it, just because of the timing, because I have exams in January, which I feel like I mentioned 100 times, so sorry it becomes repetitive, but I have exams in January, and so I wanted to read like easy things on the brain, and so like I told myself no adult speculative stuff. And what do? The first thing that I pick up is an adult high fantasy. But then I thought, you know what? It's a novella. There's not that much time for it to get super complicated. Like it wouldn't have a gazillion characters, and the plot building can't be as intricate, and the plot can be as complicated as like a 1,000-page book. So like it will be fine, and also I can always return it unread if it is too hard, and then like pick it up later again. So like it's no big deal. It's fine. So I got this. So I'm not sure if this will be read soon, but it will be read at some point. So that's this book. So for what is going to be read after, as I already told you, it can be like easy stuff on the brains, like romances, probably a lot. Like thrillers also go by that. I have a couple of things in my mind. Middle grade, children's books, those kind of things, because I'm gonna need my brain. Like I can't do Malazan type stuff, which kind of sucks because usually January is like the month where I want to read like the really long, complicated, epic fantasies and the sci-fi, like the very intricate sci-fis. Like last year, technically this year, but like last year, right? The first book of the year, so first book of 2022 was Dune. So like to give you an indication, I don't know, I have motivation, I want to start out the year strong, but I'm not gonna let myself do that this year. But I want to, but I'm not gonna. So yeah, I can still read them in February and March and any time of year when I have no exams and everything's fine. So yeah. So that's what I'll be reading. So we've reached the end of the final clip of the final video, or at least final vlog of this year. I have 2 videos that I've ready that I gonna put up at some point, just to like bridge the time. Between now and my next vlog will be like halfway through February. So I think the first one will go up in like January. But I don't know for sure yet. We'll see. So this is the end of the vlog. I feel like this was very long. Apologies for that, but I will see you again in the next year. Bye.